whipping up another 12 by 12 layout for you. This particular layout, I just wanted to have no boundaries, just grab 2 sheets of paper and see what I could do with it. That's basically what I decided to do this morning. And I chose the Maggie Holmes Garden Party collection, and I went in there and I grabbed out 2 different sheets. Now, I know you're looking at that going, Karen, you didn't cut the black and white wide enough. Yes, it's a mistake, but it's easily fixable because I actually had planned on doing some stripes going the opposite direction. So it totally wasn't a problem. I didn't want to waste all the black and white. I actually wanted the paper to have more black and white dots on it. So I fixed that in the end. I'll show you how I fixed that. Now, this is me. Literally, I'm just sitting, playing, and I have sped this up. What did I speed it up? 4 times. Pretty sure that's what it was. And only because, who wants to sit here and watch videos for hours and hours? For all my new subscribers, I don't cut out the process. I prefer to, instead of spending hours editing, I would rather spend hours creating. So what I do is, my aim on my channel is to create things slightly differently. Slightly, use a product in a way that maybe it wasn't intended to be used. Maybe, like on this particular page, I wanted more black dots on that page. I wanted it to be more of a polka dot page, but I'm working with what I've got. I wanted to use 2 pieces out of the same collection. Just makes it easier. These are papers that are still current, so you can still access them. I do have a lot of older papers that I intend on using, but at the moment I'm really liking how do I describe it? They're bright, but they're muted. They're like matte. Is that how would you describe this? So they're a bright color, but if you've ever seen the Maggie Holmes anything, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like, trying to think of how to explain it. I'm really enjoying the paper collections, and Pink Fresh Studio, they've just bought out some, and I'm loving them because they're kind of pastel. They're sort of, and I just love them. Now, the only thing I did cut out here, I started fussy cutting these, and I just wanted a few flowers out of the same paper. So it's just flip the paper over, and there it is. It's on the other side. But I did stop and I cut them out and come back. That's usually the only thing I'll cut out when I'm doing any kind of editing. Now, you're probably wondering why, Karen, why are you using your glue? Why? Because today my hands and my arms are killing me. I don't know why. I'm not sure what I've done to them. But to run tape runner, I know this sounds ridiculous, but if you've got fibromyalgia or rheumatoid arthritis in any way, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Some days you just wake up and bam, it gets you. And I don't know why, but today I woke up and it's one of those days. So it doesn't mean I can't create. What it means instead is I think about it differently. Years gone by, I would have probably just curled up and tried to sleep the day away just to get rid of the pain. That's what I normally would have done. However, I didn't do that this time. I decided, no, I'm going to just hook right in and Too bad, so sad. Move on. So if you're like me and you suffer with any kind of pain, like, what do you call it? Chronic pain. I feel you. I know very, very well that it is not easy some days. So that's why today I went, you know what? I know how I can fix this. I'll just use glue. Simple. Instead of using the tape runner and all that sort of jazz. So what I'm doing here is there was a gap between the black and the white. Yes, right? The black and the white and the stripes. So what I've done is I've it's 1 inch. That's all it is. And I glued it in the center and I left the sides because normally I would use tape runner, right? And then I'd be able to lift it up. Well, Art Glitter Glue, she doesn't like getting lifted back up. Once it's down, that stuff, it's down, it's done. There's no coming back from it. So, this is where I'm just using my leftover dots. I use the outside, the inside, the whole lot. It's all double-sided and it's all foam. So I use that just to make sure that I'm not being wasteful. So I did raise that one up. Now, the sides of those 1 inch, let me reword this. The horizontal lines, I've raised up the sides. So I glued down the center and I raised up the sides. And I will squash that back down, but I've left it up for the minute because I knew I wanted to tuck some flowers around because I love these flowers. They're so pretty. And I just wanted to, it was literally just a photo taken of, I was just doing a selfie with my daughter and who is now 14. And my husband decided to, chuck the old bunny ears behind her head, which was a bit funny. But I just thought, she loves flowers. She's not a fan of birds, but she loves flowers. So I thought these flowers are just pretty. And I know there's a big flower on my forehead in the top photo. But I don't mind that. It's on me. Who cares? It's all good. So I absolutely loved just putting all these flowers in together. I fussy cut them off camera. Now what I did here, these are the Cocoa Vanilla Studio Legendary die cut titles. Now they actually had a really wide white border around them. And I sat and went around them and minimized that white border because not a fan. So I love the words. I love all of that, but I don't like the really wide white border. So I just trimmed it. It's not hard. Does it mean that you shouldn't buy a product or something like that just because it's got the white edge on it? No. Just fussy cut it. Are we all perfect at fussy cutting? Nah. But you know what? We give it a go. Give it a crack. See what happens. It's only paper. You can't go wrong. So, although here I nearly did. I was literally, when I did that and I moved that word love, mate, I was half a second of not being able to move it. I didn't put it up far enough. So what I ended up doing is putting some foam squares behind the top part of the word. So love at the top is higher than love at the bottom. And then this is raised up. So yeah, it turned out really nice. I loved it. And all I can say is, yeah, I love this kid. She's a trooper. She's been to hell and back in her life. I realise there's some kids that have had a lot worse, but, she does have a couple of health challenges that she's managed to get past, and she's living life no matter what. So basically what I do now is I sort of looked at it and went, I still wish there was more black dots on that side. Oh, here's my never ending nemesis. I find the Uniball Signo broad white pen, if I don't use them, once I start using them, if they're not used regularly, it's like the ink stops flowing or something. I don't know what it is. Anyway, for the case for the sake of the video, moving on quickly, I grabbed my Jelly Roll pen. Is the Jelly Roll my favorite? Nah, not even close. I did buy, I think I bought 4 or 5 different white pens at one point, and this was actually before I did YouTube. And I did all these pens. I wanted to see what they were like for with the flow, thickness, white, their opacity, is that what you call it? How opaque they were. And because, I mean, if you pick up a pen and you want to use white, you want it to be white, right? The Jelly Roll didn't really do that for me, but because I'm going over a grey letter, it stands out enough. So I did manage to pull it off. I do have more Uniball Signo pens here, but just for the sake of I just didn't want to stand up and grab them, to be quite honest. I was on a bit of a time crunch. Now, what I'm doing now is something that I wanted to show you. You know how sometimes you look at and this is what I said about the letters. Just because the white edge is too wide and it's not to your taste, does that mean you shouldn't buy it? No. Think outside the square, buy it, trim it. These flowers, I love these flowers, but I didn't want, and I love Maggie Holmes collection. Like, love, 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 love. But I didn't want the flowers to be sort of too dark, if that makes sense. I wanted, where the black darker pieces are, I wanted to lighten them up a little bit. So I just went around with the Jelly Roll pen, because that's the one that I was using. And I just coloured in, I left a little bit of the black, but added a healthy amount of white on there. And it just changes the way the flowers look. They don't look so dark. They're sort of more, I realise these are not sunflowers, but you know how a sunflower just looks bright and happy? These flowers look bright and happy, but because I was doing a photo with my daughter, I wanted, instead of the dark shadow, I wanted to lighten that shadow up a little bit and still give it a contrast. But so that's what I did, and I just coloured it in. And I wanted to show you guys that sometimes you look at a pattern paper, and this particular couple of pieces of paper, I've just bought a few sheets of it. I used to always just buy the paper pads, and I found that I get bored with all the colours in the paper pad, the whole 9 yards. So I've purchased myself, see how much lighter it looks? The flowers just look brighter or something. I can't really explain it, but it does look better. And this is my solution to my dots. Now, I said earlier about the muted tones, like the grey tones in these papers, and I love it. But I wanted to add a little bit of gloss. So because I wanted to add a little bit of gloss, and I really wanted extra black dots on this side of my page. So I pulled out my Nuveo drops, and these are the Nuveo crystal drops, and I used the Ebony black. One, it was bang for buck in 2 ways. Yes, it's adding black, but not where the flowers are. So now I've lightened up the flowers, and I've made the black literally be the attention piece on the white sheet. Does that make sense? So it's just a way that you can draw attention to in a different way. And now I've also got some gloss on there as well using the Nuveo drops. So it's just another way to use it. And right here, I put my hand in it and I realized. So I went over the existing black dots and I added a few extra black dots. And here's the close up for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, I would love a like, subscribe, and maybe even a comment if you'd like to see some different bits and pieces. And yeah, so I will be back tomorrow with another video for you. Thanks so much for watching, and I will chat to you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.